Hey, Lynette. How are you? How are those beautiful babies? How are you? Hey, I'm getting ready to. Is Tanya on? Oh my God, do I think I need my glasses? I hope not. What's up, y'all? How are you doing? I had to switch. I was trying to go live from my iPad and it didn't work. There you go, lady. Hold on, let me. Hi, hey sis. Hold on. Tanya, request to join so I can accept you. Please. Bernard, for some reason I thought you had two, but I know you had one. I know you have a beautiful son. Hi, hey lady, how are you? I love the hands. So today we are gonna, the comment pin, I swear, RG be giving me hell, y'all. There we go. Okay. Hold on. There we go. I'm just trying to like set all of this up. So we are going to be discussing Black women abroad. So, and what that's like, and the journey, and the reasoning. Hey, lady.
Hey, beloved. I totally understand about IG. I don't even want to talk about it. We're doing this because we need this, but
Oh my God. And I swear, I have such a love-hate relationship with Instagram. I do.
we are here. We are here.
How are you?
I am so good. Hey, sister. I see you, Zakia. We wanted to have you on. I actually, I wrote to you on WhatsApp, but I didn't hear back from you. So
I know, I know. And Zakia, just so you're hearing from me, my name is Tracy, and we have people in common. I'm from Oakland too, and I think you know my girl Nikki Thomas. And I'm in Mexico City, and I was hanging out one day. We were hanging out one day with Roderick, and he was like talking about you. So I think it's meant for us to connect.
absolutely.
And Tanya spoke about you, so I'm just like, okay, okay. So
Y'all need to meet. And I love that we are all over the world and we're connecting each other
yeah,
and to
yeah,
each other. And that's the whole reason we wanted to have this conversation. Like 2 years ago, Zakia wrote to me and asked me about living here. And now this year, I love that you're doing it. So we're
yeah.
out here. We're out
We
here living the
we are.
life.
When I tell you, okay, first of all, y'all, we are both in Mexico, but I want you to peep how I'm dressed versus how Tanya's dressed, okay?
Okay. Yes, it is still hot. That's the thing. I love my ocean. I love my jungle. You cannot get me out of here. I am never leaving. This is my
I
paradise.
I know, I know. So wait a minute now. So we were supposed to go, just to give you guys a little bit of context, we were supposed to go to Puerto Vallarta on our tour, but we fell in love with Mexico City and just like stopped. We were supposed to go to Guadalajara. We were supposed to go and end in Puerto Vallarta. We're actually supposed to be in Puerto Vallarta now. And I messaged Tanya. It was literally like the last minute decision the night before, like probably 8 hours before our flight was supposed to leave out there. And we were just like, yeah, we're going to stay.
You know what? The interesting thing though is when people come here, then they never want to leave. I mean,
Mm,
I was having dinner with people from all over the world last night. Do you know what I'm
hmm
saying? And they
hmm
talk about the energy of this area. There's something with the mountains here and the ocean. There's, I don't even know how to quantify the quartz that's in the mountains that comes from the seawater. So that
hmm
energy, that's what brings the whales here every year. That's what brings the turtles
Yeah,
here. They have their babies here. So there's something really energetically connecting people here. So that's what
yeah.
I want you to feel here in the water, because then you won't leave either.
But see, no, because Playa does the same thing for me. So I'm not, I think part of, let me just say this, absolutely what you said is 100% true, but I think it is like all over the country. I
It
don't think it's
is.
like, and
Yeah.
it offers different parts or different elements because I was telling, like, now we are on our exploratory tour.
Yeah.
We head back to the States next week, reluctantly for me at least. And I was like, ooh, what if I could just like figure out how Honey would not let me? I know she would have a fit. But we will definitely, we're going to be back next year permanently. And we're just trying to figure out like which is a good home for us. But what I've experienced is exactly what you said, Tanya, in about here in the country. And when I first landed in, this is my third time in the country this year, my fourth time out of the United States this year total. And out of the four times have been here in Mexico. And the first time I came here, I didn't expect to fall in love with it. I didn't. And I was like, oh shit. And then I said, okay, I'm moving to Mexico. And now you can't keep me out of the country.
And you know what it is? It's the freedom and the way we are seen. And the way I'm not an American Black woman. I'm just a woman here. And that sense of being able to relax in our body and our skin, to let down our guard, like our real guard.
Right. Right.
That's real freedom. Now I know what our ancestors spoke about when they talked about going to the north, because that was what they must have felt.
I think
to be
about that.
right? To be from the South, where, and I'm not trying to sound bad here or anything, but we know what the slave trade did to our people in the South, which is why it was go to the north, go to the north, go to the north, right? And so we've all, our generations, have done that. But now coming back to a place where we're just seen as beautiful women, regardless of the color of our skin, it makes a huge difference in our psyche. I didn't realize how psychologically traumatized I was due to being a Black woman in the United States. Now I feel like just a woman of color, a beautiful Black woman in a sea of other brown people. I don't feel different and othered. And so that's medicine to the soul. And that's what you feel.
It's a daily medicine. It's medicinal. But for me, and you I know can relate to this. It's more of us walking, at least for me, in our regalness. I know you saw the video that I posted, and I'm actually more vocal about it on TikTok than I am Instagram. And I did one recently on resting, and just the Black women over there, when I did that post on TikTok, they were just talking about, oh my God, you are so right. Nobody really talks about this, but when you leave the United States, like, you don't realize how fatigued you are in just trying to be and exist. And then when you come to or go to a different place that allows you just to rest, it hits you. And when I tell you, I slept so much yesterday, and it's like it keeps coming in bouts. It's not even just a one time, oh, I'm gonna take a nap. It's like, days I have bursts of energy and I'm good. Then all of a sudden I hit a wall and I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted again. But I know to heed to the call of rest. But you don't realize how fatigued you are in just trying to exist in a country that is designed to go against you.
Sister, I just came back from New York and I was like, let me get out of here. I was there for a week and I was like, I cannot live here anymore. I know for 100% sure now, there's no way I could live back in the United States. The energy of everyone was just this tense. I felt like I was about to have a panic attack. And just from the energy and the intensity, and then all of the distractions and just this constant bombardment. I could not believe some of the stuff I saw on the TV or all these other things. And I was just like, I can't wait to get back to Mexico, because it really is that nervous system reset. You reset your nervous system. That's what I know you feel in that rest. And I got to tell you, because the Black Psychic Librarian, and I left the day after, but I'm so bummed that I didn't read this email. But Rest is Resistance, and I can't remember her name, but the book just came out a couple weeks ago, but the book is called Rest is Resistance. It's written by a sister I've had 3 people recommend it to me, and she was
Mm,
just at Cafe Con Libros, and I missed it in Brooklyn
mm.
last Thursday. But please, what you're saying, rest is resistance. I downloaded it on my Audible, so
I'll
I
get
can't
it. I'll
wait to
get
get
it.
into it. Yeah, so I wanted to
Yeah.
share that with you.
And I hope those of you guys who are joining and listening today can just begin to like take away the elements. So Tanya, like talk about like your journey in leaving the United States, where you are and why you're there. Like I know where you are, like the
Yes.
and why
Okay.
you're there, but like how it all got started for you.
You know what it really I had been living out of the United States and living in Europe for quite a few years. I would come back to Chicago as needed, but after living outside of the United States the first time, the second time living in Europe, I was like, you know what? I don't need the United States. And when I started seeing the way the rest of the world saw the United States and how I felt outside, I was like, maybe this is more than just live, overstaying my visa a couple of times. Maybe this is about really me relocating somewhere. And I had never thought of Mexico. It hadn't ever even crossed my mind. And it'll be,
Uh-oh. You
it's
blanked
okay.
out. Okay, go ahead.
I saw that my alarm went off. Someone invited me down from a spiritual community, and I was like, "This is spirit calling me." So I said, "Yes, I always do. If spirit brings me something or someone," I said yes. So I'm like, "Why not?" I had just got back from living in Spain, and I was in Chicago, and it was about to get cold, and I was like, this is not where I want to be, spirit. I was like, please guide me somewhere. And it was at this time I found out and got invited to come down to Ajijic, which is right outside of
Got
Guadalajara.
it.
And so I was like, you know what? I said I wanted to go somewhere and do something different. My daughter was in college. I was, a liberated woman. I was like, why not? And I came and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like what you just said. I don't know if it's the mountains, if it's the crystals in the earth, if it's I know it's the people. It's,
We can have a whole conversation about the
yeah,
Mexican people.
yeah. It's the culture. It's just so many things. And I
Hmm.
was just like, this is it. This is my forever place. And so then my daughter came to visit and she would go back to work. She would be crying, like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. And so um, then I remember the first time I came to Puerto Vallarta, where I now live, it was the day, I will never forget this. It was the day that Prince passed. And I was on my way to the
Mm.
airport and my daughter called me and she was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm on my way. And she's like, oh, you didn't hear. And I was like, oh my God, who is it? And I
Mhm.
was crying on the plane. And so I came to Puerto Vallarta that weekend or that week. And I was like, this is it. And I said,
Mhm.
what do I need to do to be here? And
Mhm.
what I found out was it's actually less expensive to live here than it is in Ajijic. And I was like, why not? So we, packed up our bags from my daughter ended up moving down. I got married. We ended up packing up and moving to the beach. And so I live now in Puerto Vallarta. I absolutely love it. It is such an international city. I mean, it's small, but it is a city. But I love knowing that I can see people that I know from the store. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm a Cancer,
Mhm.
so I need that homey feeling with people. And I
Mhm.
love that, we're a small but a beautiful community. And even we have a Black Puerto Vallarta group because there is
Mhm.
so many people. I have a client moving here next month already. She came a couple months ago and she was like, oh my gosh, can I stay? And she didn't want to leave. And I said, come on, I introduced her to somebody. She met some more people. They got her an apartment. She can't wait. She already bought her ticket for her and her dog. She's like, I can't
I heard
wait,
that. It's something
because
about those one-way
it,
tickets too.
and that's what she wrote me. She was like, I bought my one-way ticket. And I was like, come on. And just knowing that we have each other, you know, as sisters, as
Mhm.
Black women,
Mhm.
having that
Mhm.
community again, just in sisterhood. And there are so many single Black women living here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to have that outreach with each other because we
Mm-hmm.
need each other. And so it's been an incredible journey. Like I said, 7 years next month. And after this trip to New York, like I said, I don't know when I'm coming back. I don't know if I'll ever come back. I mean, visit wise, but yeah, I want to go and explore some more like South America and more
Mm-hmm.
of Mexico. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
That's my plan too. We're going to Oaxaca next year. Our
Mm-hmm.
trip to Puerto Vallarta, we ended up just changing the tickets over to
Okay.
Oaxaca,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be in Oaxaca in like 11 months or something like that. Granted, we'll be back, but way before then.
Yes.
But that is my plan too, is to see Central and South America,
Yeah.
but how inexpensive, number one, that you can live and eat. Now, let me say this.
And
I'm a foodie.
ease. And ease.
Right, right. And I'm so glad you said that word, Tanya, because there have been bouts of, and I keep using that word, but it's just been like these moments of, girl, you're supposed to be doing more. You're supposed to be, and I understand why I feel that way. It's because of the constant pressure to produce in America
Colonization.
and
Colonization.
colonization, and you don't, and I don't feel it here, but my mind is like, my body is trained to do more, but my mind is like, wait a minute, this isn't. So it's balancing itself out, and it's just been a huge awakening. I'm a deeply spiritually connected person, like,
Yes.
and people don't understand how deep I roll just because looking at me. But when you know, you know. And talking about the spiritual aspect of it, I just know for a fact that I will be able to be free in fullness of the spirit and being in this place. Now, I know a
Absolutely.
lot of people
I,
won't even know what that means, but those who know. And without resistance, without criticism, without judgment, or even without shame.
that is it. And that's, you know, it's so interesting. I love that you brought this up. And the reason I wanted to say ease is because ease, that is not something that we're even used to. Colonization has conditioned us consciously and unconsciously to always be in struggle mode, survival mode. As Black people, we are meant to be in. So coming here and having a sense of ease and luxury in
Right.
just the simplest parts of life. It's not even about the stuff. You recognize it's not
Yeah.
about the stuff. It's about the quality of your life and the ease
Mhm.
and the grace that you can have with yourself. Instead of,
Right.
again, our nervous system is shot. In the United States, it's shot. We work only in our reptilian brain, and that's how they keep us caught up in the
Mhm.
cycles and patterns, right? And so coming here to be and relax, letting your brain relax, because that keeps our brains hot. Survival mode keeps our brains hot, which means we're not intuitive. So
Right.
I did not connect to my African spirituality until I moved here. Because
Right.
again, I didn't have, I had it, I wanted it, I read the books, you know, I did the motions, but to get into it,
Into it.
I
Yeah.
couldn't get it until I was here because I had at ease. And I
Right.
want to mention again, beloved sister, shapeshifter, Sakia. I found her from her beautiful song. Her song, Abracadabra Africa.
Hmm.
You have to listen to it. I have to send it to you. It is, when I found her and I was like, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. I had like my fangirl moment and I was like, I love your music. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I think you're great. And so then we started talking. And then she's like, you know what? I think I might want to come down to Mexico. Now, we haven't met in person, but that's my girl. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's my
Hmm.
sister right there. And so her and her daughter just celebrated a year in Mexico City. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because she felt the same thing. And again, I think she's a priestess. I'm pretty sure she is a priestess.
Hmm.
And she brought her gifts with her. And there is
Hmm.
so much richness here. My first statues of the Orishas, I got them in Mexico City. You know,
Really?
yes,
Wow.
at the Sonora market, this
Mhm.
Mercado Sonora. And, you know, because and all the tools and all the things, and it wasn't seen as
When
like
I tell you, oh my
weird.
God, Tanya, I could not walk into a Mercado without seeing a stand for us. And I was
Black
like wondering, I was
everything.
like, where am I gonna get my, I need a botanical, where am I? I can't walk in not one, and this it's already there.
It's
I don't
already
have
there.
to
You know,
dig, I don't have to search, I don't have to. And when
botanica
I
all
tell
day.
you, and when I tell you, Abuelita is over there with the herbs, and
Herbs.
I'm just like, oh, grandmama,
Did you get a
where you
cleaning? Did
been?
you get Olympia yet?
I did not. I did not.
Oh, you
And
got to
that
get
was on my
Olympia.
list to do when I was in Merida.
Mm-hmm.
I connected with Yaya out there, but the timing, we weren't able
I
to lock in
understand.
a time, but it's already on my list, you
Of
know.
course. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
people just like, and me being bald is interesting. And, I cover my, because it's cold in Mexico.
It is. It is. You know, I got to tell you something. The ball thing, though, let me tell you. Do you know that they shave the little girls' heads when they're babies?
No,
Yes. If you,
no.
yes. So, and I didn't know this either, but baby girls, after their first hair, their first, like, I don't know what age or whatever, but they shave them bald. And that way, then their hair, they call it like their second hair,
Hmm.
comes in thick and strong. But they
Oh,
shaved them
no.
bald. So have you
Oh,
felt like awkward because of that?
no,
Because yeah,
no,
that's what I was gonna say,
no.
because they shave the little girls at
Now
when they're
that
babies.
I get like looks and I'm kind of used to that though. But I think it's the looks are not in disgust; they're more
No,
in adoration.
exactly.
And I get when my head is covered because when it's cold, I cover my head because I'm
Yes,
cold most of the time, and it's also depending upon what's going on, then I will cover my head.
of course.
But yeah. Um, and the awe that I
Yes.
receive is like, wow. I mean, if I had, could count on my fingers how many times I've been looked at, stared at, or just complimented because of what they feel and think that I look like, or know that I am, that I'm just not outwardly portraying, but just they know. When I tell you, they are so spiritually in tuned and connected.
Absolutely. 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 They see us as queens. They do because
Yeah,
they know our lineage.
yeah,
It's time that we know our lineage. Do you know what I'm
right,
saying? But we can see them in the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? We see them, they see us because we're all mirrors.
right,
You know,
right.
so we see the queen in them. And then too, the statue, the Virgin Mary, the all of the divine feminine that's all around. You know, it might be
Hmm.
very machismo here with all the male energy, but there is a reverence. The sacred feminine is very strong here. And I think that's one of the
Hmm.
key healing factors of Mexico for sure, as a country as a whole, and seeing that depiction of the divine feminine in such a
Right.
sacred, beautiful way is powerful and healing for us as well.
When I tell you the people here, we were at El Moro, which is a churro spot, which I'm sure you're aware of,
Yeah.
and we were just sitting down having churros. And this family, Native family, they come and they sit next to us.
Yes.
And when I tell you, Auntie just just started having conversation with us, and come to find out, like her family is from Veracruz, and like her people are black or darker skinned, and it was such a warm and welcoming reception and connection that we felt. That was the night we ended up deciding to stay too, and I know I
Oh,
had a lot to do with her energy. And I keep saying the spirit, I'm just like, please let us run across each other again, because
yes.
it was such a deep connection that I could see her in my life. But when she learned and I expressed my need to go to Veracruz and to go to Oaxaca because of our history that is
Yes, girl,
there,
I
when
have to
I
go to Oaxaca too. That's why when you
when
said that, I it's been on
people
my
don't
list.
understand, we don't know. And when I tell you our history is so deeply hidden from us, but
Yes.
there is a magic, but a history, an
Of African
African history
history in
that's
Oaxaca.
in Veracruz and in Oaxaca. And there are indigenous people there that are darker than that, me and
Darker than
Tanya.
yes. I,
And it's like I have to learn. I have to put my feet on the soil. I have to connect with those
I
people. I
feel
have to
exactly the
learn
same.
where are we? What happened? Why don't we know about this more? And once I get there, I'm gonna tell it.
You know what? They just became recognized as Mexicans just 2 years ago.
Mm,
Afro Mexicans just became recognized with the new presidency
mm,
as a part of Mexicans. So I feel you, sister. Actually, I know I had a past life, and many of my past lives I drowned, but
hmm
the last one, when I was a little girl, I used to sleepwalk and I would wake up dreaming the bubbles were chasing me. When I came here and started being in the water, the story came back. So I know I must have been off the shores of Mexico somewhere and jumped off and was like, I am not going anywhere else, and jumped off and drowned, but off the coast of Mexico. Because again, like you said, there is something that's pulling me here. And then once
right.
living here, I felt the same about Oaxaca. I was like, I have to go there. I have to go there. I have to go there. And they even have statues and everything of Afro
Right.
Mexicans in Veracruz and that. Yes. So
And
that is
there's a lot
definitely,
of spirituality, African
yes.
spirituality that is there.
Yeah, so I want to go
Hmm
so I can let them know you're seen. I see you. I'm here. And I also want to please tell me what you know. You know what I'm saying? Help me out. That's why I
Right,
want my Spanish. I'm, working on my Spanish is so important because I want to be able to really
right.
connect with them, And yeah, and I'm
It's
seeing
there.
more and more and more of Afro Mexicans everywhere, for sure.
And what I love too is, and Oaxaca, you guys, just so you know, is known throughout the country for their food.
Oh,
They like,
yeah.
if you really want some real good Mexicans rave about Oaxaca,
Yes.
so there's a lot of, and I love the cuisine because you can taste the culture.
And they're on the
You
coast as
learn.
well. Yes.
Right, and things that
Yes.
grow there don't
Grow
normally
anywhere else.
grow anywhere else. I mean, so
Yeah.
there's just so much that is within this country that is more than just, it's inexpensive to live as
Yeah.
comparison to the United States. It's more than that. And I think what we're talking about is like the pull that just kind of keeps you here, that you have to find out more. It's like once you go down a rabbit hole, you just keep going. At least for me,
Hmm.
who was like, I'm an information girl. Like I have to
Hmm.
know
I'm a
until I
librarian.
feel
Hello. So
until I
I'm
know
with
enough.
it.
I have to know. So what has been like, let's just talk about your system changing over from a physical aspect. How has that been for you, or how was that? Like did your skin get clearer? Did
Oh,
your digestive tract heal? Like how
so
was that?
the food, because there's not all the additives, there's not all the fast food. Maybe, by you, but I know there's in Mexico City, there's still a lot of local food. They don't have, I mean,
Yes.
they have the fast food, but it's more local everything. If I
Yeah.
want something fast, it's a fruit stand
It's
or
a
a
fruit
taco
stand and a
stand.
food cart.
Exactly. And so I can go, instead of, oh, I want this, I can get fresh fruit sliced up in a cup to go. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, my skin, I just turned 51 in July. And, you
Oh,
know,
beauty.
and so it's like in the environment and the elements, it makes me want to feel better and do better and be better in my skin. Do you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So yes, everything healed. And now, I don't eat as much. I don't eat bread really, sugar, all of those things that we're conditioned to eat. I have a whole different way of eating here now. My juicer is my best friend, because the fresh fruit and vegetables and everything that I can just eat fresh. There's a star fruit tree and a mango tree,
Mhm.
bananas growing right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course. Do you know what I'm saying? And they have taught me how to use these fruit in ways I've never thought I could use these fruit. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I love how much my body has truly transformed, and the other thing too is I came here and I had just stopped drinking. And even though they have a big drinking culture, as much of the world does, having these other elements in my life, and the ease and the grace and the beauty around me and the abundance of nature, and just being in this wealth, this is wealth. It's not
Come
about
on
the stuff
now.
that you got in the bank or the
It's
stuff.
not about the
It's not
thing.
about the stuff. This is me being wealthy. This is me living in luxury. Do you know what I'm
And
saying?
so,
And health. And so it has been a priority for me because I want to be outside and it's
hmm
sunny, and that brings out the light and the sun in me. We had
hmm
one dark gray day when I was in New York, and I was like, oh my God,
hmm
this is horrible. This is
hmm
horrible. I was like, this energy is just so like pulls you down. I was like,
hmm
no, I need my everyday sunshine. I need my everyday sunshine. I need to see my palm trees, hear the
Right,
hummingbirds. I need that. That's what I need. That's what my system needed.
right.
And so not drinking was easy.
What I noticed is even though like it's cold here, today I think it's going to warm. It was coldest yesterday, but we went out to just to get some cafe. It's a
Yes.
huge cafe culture here,
Yes.
and even though it was cold, the people are so warm that it just you forget about
That it's
it.
cold. Yeah.
That it's cold. I mean, granted, I would prefer humidity. Um, and not saying that Mexico City will be our forever place, but I know, like, you can't keep me out of Mexico. Like, you can't. I'm already thinking about where am I going to go next?
Right. Yeah.
Where am I going to go next? I mean, you really cannot keep me from this place. But this my system changes over when I go back into the United States.
My
I was
system
sick
changed
for
because
3 weeks when I got back.
the first thing I always think about before I go is what am I going to eat? That's my first thought,
Um,
because everything in the United States is so full of chemicals.
even what people consider
Everything
to be
so healthy.
produce.
Exactly. It's not. It's not. I'm telling you, when you taste the avocado here and the
Right.
avocado there, it's two different avocados, two different
Yeah.
mangoes, two different pineapples.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so
That is actually part of my concern. Am I gonna get sick going back?
you need to take
Since
some you
I'll be
need to
back.
take some of your Mexican herbs with you, girl. Get you some
I know
moringa. Get you some
I have
moringa.
some.
Yes, get you some moringa and take it with you, because absolutely, that, like I said, that was the first thing that I thought about. And I'm telling you, I rarely break out. And in 3 days in the United
Mhm.
States, I had broke out. And I was like, it's the food. I know it's the food. I didn't have access to my juice.
Right.
And then even the produce is different.
Oh my God. You
It's
can't
just,
keep me away from a juice. I just said to Honey, I think it was yesterday. I said, I know one thing that I'm going to have an issue with is the food carts and the fruit carts. I'm going to miss that. And I mean, granted, it's not going to be a long time that we're going to be, back in the States, but it's like, I'm afraid of my mood, the
yeah.
anxiety and or possible blues or depression. Like I'm afraid of that part.
Well, we'll keep
And
talking, and I'll keep
I,
bringing you
I'm
back.
gonna,
You
I'm
know what
gonna
I'm
need it.
saying?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
for sure.
need it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Black mass exodus, especially among Black women when
Yeah.
it comes to leaving the United States. Now, for me, I'm like, if Black women are doing something in droves, y'all better pay attention because when I tell you, they not ready. Them colonizers are not ready for the ramifications of us leaving.
We are
They're
feeling it.
they're not ready. When I tell you we are out, and it's just like y'all figure it out your fucking self because oh well, it ain't our issue. It's not our issue. You
We
guys are
got
on
it.
your own. Figure the
Our
shit out. We're done.
ancestors have clicked us on. Those of us
Right.
who are awake and saying, I'm out. We're getting the call for a reason. There is a reason we're being guided to leave the United States. I'm telling you, when I came here, it was right before the last election. I left the United
Right.
States and it was Obama. I remember walking down the streets crying here. I was like, oh my God. And that was the first time I said I was never going back to the United States. And I was not in the United States during that era. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could be in the United States during that 4 years. Okay.
Right.
And so it's just, we have heard the call. Our intuition is awake. And the reason that there is a mass exodus is
It's
because
math.
the ones of us who are spiritually awake have heard what our ancestors are telling us. This is why it is so important to me now to only focus on teaching women how to empower their intuition. Because
Mm-hmm.
why? Because how many times have our intuition saved us? It literally has saved our lives. And see, what happens is when we betray ourselves and betray it, we start to distrust it.
Right.
But when we get that urge, this exodus, and I knew that this was going to happen. I talked about this years ago, and everybody's like, okay, whatever, Tanya. And I was like, I am a psychic, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that this was coming because we're being woken up, and there's a reason for it. And we are being told to leave the United States. Why? Because something else is coming. And I'm here to tell you it's not going to be anything that anybody is expecting. So if you feel it, if you are hearing it, if your spirit is saying, get out, please listen, beloveds. And if you need some support, hit me up, because your intuition will guide you every single place. I would have never been in the places here, and being in a foreign country, you need that crystal clear intuition as well. And it's
Right.
not to keep you from anything happening, because I feel safer here than I felt
Come on.
in the United
Come
States
on.
ever. You know what I'm saying? And but it will guide you, because this is a magical place. Some
Right.
of the things I've experienced, some of the people I've met, some of the places I've gone have all been because I was guided.
Right.
Just last
Right.
night, I was invited to a dinner. Oh, Tanya, I'd love to have you for dinner. I was given the seat at the table. Oh, this dinner is in your honor. I was like, what?
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my gosh. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you talked about the family, the Mexican family that started speaking to you, sitting down, when we first moved here, we didn't know anybody. And this family that still lives here, one day, I was at one of the first community meetings, invited us to Christmas dinner.
Wow.
Me and my husband and my daughter. And we're like, really? With your whole family?
We're not used to that.
And
We're
they
not
were like,
used.
please come with their grandma and grandfather and everybody. And I'm like, are you serious? They had us over for dinner.
Right. Right.
That's the kind of energy that we need to really heal to the deepest core of ourselves as Black women. That's why.
But also, like in the process and in the journey, that's one of the things that I fortunately have been able to set my life up since 2015 to be able to work from anywhere. And that's one of the things that, Instagram just started allowing me to do subscriptions, and it's going to be centered around Black women getting their business infrastructure together so they can work from anywhere in the world.
Yes.
So you can take, your dollars that you earn and be able to apply it anywhere on the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, for me in this country, it is about answering, like you said, that intuition is strong. I was telling Honey the other day, I said, one of the things that I have, and I don't really, it's not always comfortable, is the gift of knowing. And I said, you need to trust me with this, just about what you just said. I said, I have the gift of knowing, and what's getting ready to happen, we need to make sure that we are covered and out.
We need to be telepathic with each other. Our intuition needs to be so strong that we can feel each other without these devices.
Come on now. Right. And when you get anywhere from abroad, and you're moving, or you're exiting the United States in this process of mass exodus, please leave the colonized ways behind you. Now, when I tell you, and I'm gonna say it just as simple as, there are Black people that we see, and I'm making it a point to speak to every Black person that I see. in Mexico. And the reason
And
why I do that is because I understand the conditioning. I understand that we're not used to communicating or speaking or acknowledging each other. So I make it a point, hey, Black person, hey, Black people. I make it a point to speak. We have been so conditioned to separate and from each other that when we go somewhere else, we're bringing those learned colonized, embedded colonized ways with us. So it is going to be a shedding process that you are going to experience. And that has to be one of the first to go if you are expected to survive.
sister, sister, you don't know how many times my daughter, I would be like, did they just act like they didn't see us? And I was like, no. The flip side of that is every time I go into the store and my husband, he'll be like, oh God, there's a Black woman. He'll be like, oh, she's going to be talking now forever, because
Yep.
I will go out of my way. We friends
Yep.
on Instagram. Please join our Black
All of
PV
it.
group. I
All of
just
it.
met a girl just the other day and she's like, oh, we're from Canada. I was like, we got a group. You want to stay? Find me, follow me, let's do this.
All
I'm
of the
like, y'all
things.
all need to come. If I see a family, I'm like, y'all need to stay. I have
All
a
of it.
sister friend who is here with her whole family. They have, her little girls speak fluent Spanish,
Ooh, good for
right?
her.
They've been here longer than me, you know? And so Spanish is another thing that I think is important for us, because it's one of the things that we can be able to communicate with a whole bunch of the world, that I have to say that they don't want to learn. They do not want to learn it. And so if
Oh
we
my
learn
God.
it, we'll be able to speak to more part of the world speak Spanish than English. And they don't want us connecting in that manner. So it is
No.
so important that we learn Spanish or even another language.
Yes,
That way we are able to
absolutely.
communicate. And Privyet, I see one of my Ukrainian friends here right now. So Privyet, beloved, Privyet. You know what I'm saying? We need to be able to communicate to each other in different
When I
language other
tell
than
you,
English.
Tanya, one surefire way that I've been pissed off since I've been here is the Mexican natives. And I'm very conscious now about saying locals versus natives. Natives,
Yes.
they're from here, they've been here. They are Mexican. They can be local too, but other people can, patriate here and be
Yes.
locals. So is the Mexican people apologizing to us because they don't know English. When I tell you that pisses me off, I said it is my obligation, it is my due diligence as a guest in your country to learn your language. When I tell you these others come here with a sense of entitlement that has been over there, that they are just like, I'm bringing that shit here. And the Mexican people are so gracious in who they
Yes.
are. So when they understand that, and we're like, no, habla español. And they're like,
See,
really? Really? You want us to speak to you in Spanish? Like, yes, we want to learn. It is our
absolutely.
responsibility. So come here. That's why I say the shedding process of the colonized behavior has to go. That
First.
has to go. That has to be among the first to go. It's like
Absolutely.
we cannot treat them the way that the others have treated us
Absolutely.
especially on their land. So
Yes.
when don't come anywhere with a sense of entitlement, it is a sense of humility and honor and grace that first of all, we're here.
Yes.
Second of all, they're allowing us to be in their home.
Yes. You
That
just
is
made
one
me
way.
think of another sister too. She is Imani. She's a travel writer. I think she lives in Playa Carmen. Um, she's another sister too that travels
I,
that
I love
here in
Florida.
Mexico. But you made me think of her because she said the same thing about how she has seen Black people come here and treat Mexicans like they treat Mexicans. I'm like, oh no, 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 no.
Or like Black people are
Oh,
treated in the
treated in the
United
United
States.
States, absolutely. And I always say, no, you are not. No, you are my equal. I call every hermano, hermana. You know,
Right.
you are
That's
my
brother and
equal.
sister.
You are
Yes.
my equal. You are. I am not above you because I'm
Right.
American. Oh no, 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 no. And that is definitely a part of the process. That made me think of a comment that she did a live on this, because she was like, I am so disgusted to see how Black people come here and behave. And I was like, it is really, I understand. And
Because
so
they
it
got
is
to
the
shed that.
colonization, because
Hmm.
that's how thorough that brainwashing is. It is serious brainwashing, generations of brainwashing. I'm going to go back to this because this is the most poignant point that I ever remember about the movie Roots. When Kunta Kinte was getting whipped, and I'm Toby, I'm Toby, I'm Toby. By the time, or no, I'm Kunta Kinte. By the
Right.
time they finally stopped, he was like, I'm Toby. And he
Yeah.
became Toby. So that's imposter syndrome. We live imposter
Right.
syndrome. We were born in imposter syndrome. So us taking off these layers and these masks, that's a part of our healing work, and that's a part of our legacy. That's why we cannot heal in the place that got us sick.
Yeah.
That's why the Black women are leaving, because we know we are the healers, and we need to get ourselves fully healed, mind, body, and soul somewhere else. Then we can
Come
bring
on
the
now.
medicine, but we got to be where we are. We are fed. We're not fed in the United States. I'm telling you, I
When I
could
tell
not
you,
run to the plane. I'm like, let me nonstop. Okay.
but when I tell you, there's so many of us who are not operating in our true calling because of where we're living. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be able to get at least probably half of what my calling has been accomplished, but I know it'll elevate tenfold once I completely exit. But there are so many Black women. I'm speaking specifically to Black women because we are the first. We are the prototype.
Yes.
There are so many of us who are not operating in our full capacity because of the indoctrination and the colonization and the brainwashing and all of the things and the need to survive versus thrive and all of the things just
Yes.
simply because of where your address is.
Yes. And it is so detrimental to our health. So detrimental to our health. The
It's detrimental to our
diabetes,
lineage. Oh God, we
the
don't want to talk about our physical
diabetes,
sickness.
all the illnesses. I saw all these commercials for all these medicines. I was like, what are all
Yeah,
these pills for?
yeah.
I couldn't believe all the
It's
pills.
the poison.
The
It's
Thank
poison.
you. You said it. I didn't.
It's
They want me to. It
poison.
is poison. It is poison. It is absolute poison. And I can't believe that's how they got people so sick that, okay, so the food makes you sick because diabetes is from the food.
Right.
So they know if they get you sick with diabetes, you're going to be on that medicine poison for the rest of your life. They got you
Not to
hooked
mention high
in.
blood pressure. And you
They
think how
got you hooked in.
you could be you can eat healthy and you can exercise and you can do all of the things, but wait a minute, you still have high blood pressure.
And it's because of the stress and pressure
Come
of
on
being
now.
Black in the United States.
And when I tell you that I keep saying this to myself, I have to find this study, but there was a study done that shows that Black women actually don't breathe.
Yeah.
We are so used to that chest superficial breathing that we don't even inhale to give
Yes.
our body the necessary oxygenated blood our vital organs need on a constant, continual basis because we are living in such a hyper vigilant mode all the time.
Our reptilian brain, that's where that
And mental
brainwashing
issues.
happens. Yes,
Yes.
that mental issues. Absolutely. I believe all Black women, all Black people have ADHD. We have
Right.
to, because we're
And
that survival
PTSD.
and PTSD for sure, because of the way colonization works against us in every way. And
Right.
I didn't realize that again until after living here for 5 years. I mean, so I just discovered this. I was like, oh, that's what all that is.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, the mental health, it goes with the physical health, the food, all of it.
We're a whole. Our brains our bodies are so connected. Our spirits we are whole. And that's one of the things. That's why I said being a midwife changed my life 20 something odd years ago. It changed my life because I began to see what a whole system looks like
Yes,
and
a whole.
understanding the whole system versus separating it.
That's it. A whole
People not,
body, a whole
it's like,
ecosystem, a whole universe,
right, right.
a whole universe. That's why we have to see ourselves as the queen, and we have a queendom, and it starts right here. This is the first queendom. That's the second queendom. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Well, actually, this is the first queendom. This is the second. Out there, all of this is the third. And we have to see it in that way so we can start to really be at that capacity that spirit is guiding us to. Because if we're being called to be spiritual, it's not just for show. If we're being called to
No, and
up
there's a
level,
huge responsibility with that. That's why I don't.
absolutely.
That's why I understand the gravity and the weight.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me when people see me that don't know me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're one of them. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even my
Right.
own sister was like, Tracy, how long have you? I said, this has been like 20 years of my life,
Yeah.
and she was like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And here I can be as magical as I want to be. You know,
Oh,
I'm not thinking about it at all. I'm not thinking somebody's looking at me or thinking I can wear all my white all day long.
right.
Nobody's giving me any, you know what I'm saying? And so it's that also that openness. And then there's so many different ways of connecting. You know, we
Yeah.
all, and there's an African store, not an African, but she's got some Orisha and things like that, even
Mhm.
here, you know,
Mhm.
because they have more avenues to open to more things. They tell me about things down in Cuba and Colombia and all these different things. And I love that, you
Right.
know, so I can
Right.
proudly say, oh, yeah, I'm a Bruja. Nobody even
Yeah.
thinks anything about it. But if I say,
Right.
oh, you're, what does that mean?
Where's the stake? Where's the stake so we can crucify you?
Listen, people come, oh, she's one of them. Everybody in
Yeah.
even in my area, they're like, oh, she does the cards, you know, she's the one
Yeah.
over there, you know, and
Right.
nobody
Right. Go
thinks
to her.
anything of it. Nobody thinks anything of it. There's
Yeah.
a shaman I can go to in 5 minutes if I want to.
Right. Right.
We
Right.
need that. We need that.
I just hope like just those who of you guys who are listening and who have been in and out of this call can just, if you have the slightest bit of a call or a pull, understand, like Tanya said earlier, that intuition is real.
It
Please
is.
don't ignore it. And
And
what we need to
reach out. Reach out.
and what we need to stop doing is censoring and suppressing, especially these girls that you have. Oh, that's uncle or that's so such and such. Oh, and they don't, children, period. But I'm saying girls in particular because we're not trained in America to trust our intuition that is our guide and that is our gut. So when you have daughters or when you have small children, and as women, we don't know why we are not, our intuition isn't strong enough. And it is because it's been suppressed and we've been told not to listen or not to heed, or your gut is incorrect. I'm here to tell you that is a false narrative.
It is.
So as silent or as quiet as it may be, ask the spirit, can you speak up so I can hear you? And I know without 100% of without a doubt that your gut is guiding you, or that your gut is guiding you, your spirit is guiding you, your intuition. And that is how you can develop that sense that you need that is going to take you further. So if you are listening to this conversation and you are having the urge or the pull, reach out to Tanya, reach out to me. And there are so many other Black women who are doing exactly what we're talking about, where the path is already laid. That's what I love about being Black women. They'll lay a path for you. It's going to be up to you to follow.
And
So
there it
that
is.
path is already laid and designed. You don't have to recreate the wheel for yourself. And let me say this too. One of the first things I experienced with Black women who have already met the call, it's like, let me help you, let me show you, let me guide you. And they don't want nothing in return. And and I don't mean like they're not in it for like, oh, what's in it for me
Right.
attitude.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's how we
So
met. That's how we met.
it's
Right.
exactly. It's like it's not about what's in it for me. So that's another colonized way of being
Yes.
and existing. People really want to show you now. If you want to get more in depth and more personal support, that's a different conversation. But to just gain access to information, it's already there.
It is. And that's why we have to be able to support each other. That's why I changed my name to the Black Psychic Librarian, because I want
Wondering
women,
why.
Yeah, I want women to be able to know, oh, she's a resource. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You reached out to me because I'm a resource. I connect you with Zakia, and then you realize you have other people. I had somebody reach out to me, and she lives in Holland. I was like, oh, I got another a client there. And
Or
she's like, a
everywhere.
black woman? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, here, let me introduce you to her. So now two black women in Holland. You
Right.
know, we need to support each other. We need to show up for each other, because then we're showing up for ourselves.
Right.
And then we'll do the same for our daughters.
Right.
And then we create a new culture and generation of women
You
that support.
teach a woman, whether you teach a woman, you teach a nation.
And this is why, again, our intuition, we, again, in the United States, especially, because when I was living in Europe and, you know, voted #3 psychic, that was in Europe. They believe in your intuition. They, you know, I could say A, B, C, and D, and they're like, okay, Tanya, I believe you, you
Right.
know. But here, in the United States, not here, it's like, that's sketchy. I don't trust you, because look what they did to Miss Cleo. You know, look what they've done to our Black sisters who are psychic. You know what I'm saying? And so we have it. The study of dark matter is melanin, beloveds. And
Come
we are
on, now,
melanin.
somebody.
We are melanin. So if they're spending all these millions of dollars and billions of dollars to study Black melanin, to study dark matter, shouldn't we be studying ourselves? Shouldn't we be making sure we got each other covered? This is why I said, more than anything, get off of social media and get in with yourself. Our intuition is she knows. She knows. She whispers to us. We just have to differentiate all the other voices. And that's why my work now is so important, to get women to listen to that voice that is guiding them, not trying to, the imposter voice versus the guide, the she knows.
We have to also be careful who we share our information with and our journey with, because everybody that you know is not going to necessarily be supportive of the elevation that's being called upon your own life. So
Queendom, I said, queendom is elevation.
Be careful.
Yes.
Be careful. You have to. Alignment is so crucial. And when I tell you, I'm closer to Black women that live outside of the United States
Yes.
and those that live inside of the United States, because that's a different conversation. That's a different elevation. That is a knowing and an understanding that is spoken and unspoken about. We don't have to, you know, explain ourselves, because they already know.
Yes. And this is exactly why we can have this conversation. Like, if
Right.
you were in the United States and I was this conversation would be different, you know.
Very
but
different.
You're here, you've been here over a month or more, right? And so now you feel it. And so that's why we can have this deeper conversation. And even it's the same with Zakia as well, you
Right.
know?
I love this question. How do you vet those your gut is going to tell you? Your gut is going to be your guide. When you know how like something just don't feel right about people. I tell my children all the time, if it don't feel right, it ain't right.
That's right. If it's not a holy, a spiritual, if spirit doesn't bring it to you, it's not for you.
Right.
What is for you will find you. You do not have to go looking for it. It will come to you. It will come to you. It will come to you.
And how do you silence and how do you develop a stronger intuition? You have to meditate. You do have to center or get off or change your algorithm in social media on purpose. You
have to disrupt the patterns that you have in your life.
You have to.
For sure.
You're only going to be better off for it.
Yeah, people always ask me, how can I develop my intuition? The first thing you have to do is decolonize your mind, detoxify your mind, declutter your house, look at what you're thinking, feeling, how are you acting, what are you thinking, you know? And that takes support, that takes help, that's a process. Because if you've had that generation after generation, how are you going to be different? Right. You know, you cannot do it by yourself. That's why we need each other and we need our intuition for sure. So I'm so glad we had this conversation.
Me too. So if any of you guys are, like I say, even feeling the pull or the desire to gain more information about the journey to exit, that is a call that you need to answer.
Yeah, I think we need to have something, we need to do something bigger so we could bring more women in. So let's have another conversation about this. Me, you,
That most
Zakia.
definitely.
Yeah, I have
Most
another
definitely.
sister that's, I think she's in, I'm not sure. She's not in China. She's in South Korea, I believe. Or
Mm.
I forget. She's somewhere in Asia. I know she's in Asia somewhere, but I would love to bring her in too because I know she's lived outside of the United States for a long time as well. So
So I
there's
said,
a bunch of us.
there is. I feel like I need to start meditating. And you know what else? Not only just meditating and silencing, and I want let me simplify meditation for you. A lot of times
Hmm.
we walk into meditation and we feel like, oh my God, I gotta sit here for 30 minutes and be silent, and there's so much penetrating my brain. Start small, start with a minute, start with 3 minutes, start with 5 minutes, and then begin to work your way. And if those thoughts or intrusive thoughts come in, just say, I need you to go. Just
I,
I don't want us to make it more complicated than it is.
yeah, let me share three quick ways. So first, already said it, Tracy, breathe. Learn how to breathe. As a yoga teacher, when I learned how to breathe the first time, I thought I was going to pass out because I hadn't learned how to breathe until I went to yoga school. And then when I went to yoga school, I was like, OMG. So learn how to breathe. When you get outside, when you go like outside into nature, the first thing you do is like take that big breath and do that every single morning. Set
Mhm.
notifications on your phone that celebrate and support you. On my phone, I have Good Morning Queen. You made it another day. At the end of the day, what magic did you make today? At 12 o'clock, what are you focused on? Have those notifications for yourself. Stop, look, and turn all the other notifications off. The other thing is stay in community. Don't
Mhm.
try to ride this by yourself. We need each other. And, you know, um, the last thing, I talk to the moon, talk to the
Mm.
moon, talk to the moon, talk to the moon. Sisters, listen, if they have built temples, if they have built pyramids to the moon, and we have a moon within us,
Mhm.
it's our teacher. The thing is, we're
Mhm.
not listening. That's why we feel so called to it. We feel, and so get out in nature. Even if you're
Mhm.
cold, take a deep breath. Just
Mhm.
take a breath. And meditation, what meditation is a gap between the thoughts. So if you
Mhm.
can just breathe and not have a thought, that's a meditation.
Come on now, somebody. And me, I'm gonna
That's a
add another one in
meditation.
there for you. Hug a tree. When I tell you I love trees, you can't keep me away from trees. Honey knows she purposely made sure we got married near the trees that I wanted to. Like, because I am so in tune, connected, and
The
I
trees,
love
yes. And
trees.
that's your element. Again, our cosmic blueprint even tells us where we need to live. This is why I have a map of the wall or map of the world right here because I love astrocartography, that's astrology and where you should live and things like that because a lot of us we're in the
Like,
wrong
what is
elements.
this?
Yeah, we're in the wrong elements. We're in the wrong places. You know, as
Right.
I said, you know, a lot of us, our families move from the south to the north, but then
Mhm.
the north hasn't it, ain't none of it for us. You know what I'm saying? I have never thrived as much as I have thrived here.
Right.
I mean, it's my element. I'm a cancer, triple cancer. So I
Hey,
need the ocean.
Simone.
You know what I'm saying? And so we
And
need to discover what is our element and do our
right,
best to live amongst that
right.
or our balance. So I love that I have the ocean and the mountains because then that
Mhm.
provides that balance. For you, it's probably the forest, the
It
trees.
is the
Right.
rainforest. That was one of the things that surprised me about Mexico City was how green and lush it is. I said I haven't
Yes.
been to a place as green as this since I was in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's like, what the
It's
hell?
beautiful, green and lush. It really is. And some of the parks. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God.
Did you go to the Castle Chacotepec?
Chapultepec. We went
Yes.
to the park itself, but we didn't go into the castle.
Oh yeah.
But
It's
I know
gorgeous.
come on,
Yeah, it's
I know it's
gorgeous.
gorgeous. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah. So come to the beach. I actually, this is why I host retreats here, even because that water medicine,
it
being
is.
connected to Yemaya deeply,
Yep.
and then too knowing. I remember when I came and I put my hands in the water, I knew I could feel spirit speaking,
Come on
because
now.
this water is different. This water is healing water.
And
Do you
look,
know what I'm saying? And it comes from the mountains, and then it's just it's healing waters. Everybody says that when they come here,
right.
and so that's why we need all of those elements.
Come on now. We went to Isla Mujeres not that long ago, like in the summertime, and I was in the water for like 2 hours. Didn't realize I was in it for 2 hours, But that Caribbean blue
Yes.
water, the stillness of the water,
You don't have to tell
yeah,
me. I can't wait. I'm going tomorrow. My favorite thing is just to go out there and just float and look at
the
the mountains and
stillness.
just, that's my thing. Yeah, that's my thing.
Come on now, the
I love just,
stillness of the water.
and then having my ears halfway in so I can just listen and then I can see the fish. We went whale watching. I never
Now
thought
that
in
is
my life,
definitely on my list for
I
Puerto
never,
Vallarta, girl,
I
is
never
seeing those
thought I
whales.
would see a whale in my life. I love me some Discovery Channel, like, right? That's again our connection to nature and water. But I never thought in a million years that I would see some of the stuff that I used to see on Discovery Channel with my own eyes, like the pyramids and whale
Mm-hmm,
watching. And I
mm-hmm,
went zip lining. I can't
mm-hmm.
do that kind of stuff. I've
Right.
climbed mountains. I never would have thought I would do that kind of stuff.
And a lot of us we're floating and we're not grounded and we're not rooted. And when
That's
you
right.
guys, there's a lot of superficial conversation about chakras. And when people are talking, we're talking about elements.
Yes.
We're not understanding why we don't feel connected to yourself or each other or where you are. You have to get near the
Near the
element.
elements.
I love that you said that, Tanya, that calls you. You
Yes.
have to be in the element that calls you
Absolutely.
to get
And
grounded. That's just the beginning.
that's the beginning. And you made me think of another, somebody, I saw a comment about the intuition, a song. The song I Am by Beautiful Chorus and India Ari. Beloveds, listen to it every morning and every night before you go to sleep. Because the first line is, there is wonder, there is magic. And then it is I am. So
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go listen to it today, at least 50 times a day. I have it on repeat. So that's like my morning music. And then I'm singing it. And you're singing that and bringing that energy into your body. See, the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, we believe what we've been taught, what we've been conditioned. Our colonization is deep, y'all. Please understand, but you won't even know until you are out of it how deep
And
it
understand
is.
too how much of bullshit it is.
Oh, and exhausting. And as I said, it is what created the imposter syndrome that we all have such a hard time getting rid of because we were born into it. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers were born into this impostering. I'm gonna go back to that scene of
Root.
Roots, of
Mm-hmm.
Roots. What's my name? Kunta Kinte. What's my name? Kunta Kinte. What's my name? Toby.
Right. Right.
That's what we do.
Right. Right. So
So,
you're not alone. You're not alone. Please don't.
mm-mm.
I know it feels like it. I understand the feeling, but
Yeah.
no, you're not alone. All my cry is when Black women do something in droves, pay attention because
Pay
the
attention.
last thing that you want to be is left behind.
And I'll just say this, and I know we could talk forever. Find out truly your zodiac. Get your birth chart, your natal report.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the first things. I know I did that one for you too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was, didn't I do your birth chart
I don't
for
think
you?
so.
No, well then
Mm-hmm.
I need to do it for you. Because when you know your birth chart, because it's a cosmic blueprint of you.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
you know all your different aspects, that's the inner you. That's not the outer you that somebody else said
Mm-hmm.
that you were. It's not black, it's not white. It's the cosmic you. And when you have that cosmic you and your intuition telling you, use this candle, try that herb, don't eat that, don't go
Baby,
there,
I have to
you
have a
become the
conversation with you.
magic. The
I have to have
magic
a
is you.
conversation with you. Oh my God, I have a wall full of herbs. I spent probably about, I spent probably about 3 months, maybe a total of 3, 4 months building my wall. I'm trying to figure out how in the hell am I going to get these across customs? And
Okay.
So we can have a different conversation about
Yes,
it.
yes.
I have a briefcase full of seed. Now, granted, if I got to get rid of it and send all that stuff to my mother, I will, because everything is here.
Yes,
But it's
the
like,
seeds will be hard, but there are different shipping companies, and a lot of them are from Laredo. So Laredo, they drive a lot of things over. So we'll have that conversation.
yeah,
But yeah, that
yeah.
but
So I
seeds
mean,
will be difficult. They don't want any seeds. The seed bank,
yeah,
because they're afraid that we're going to be able to regrow. So we have to, again, this is why our intuition is calling us so strongly. We have to be able to be in our true medicine so we
right.
can recreate what we cannot take. And we have to use the substitutes that we have here and in different places around the world, because we've gotten used to that American stuff. We've got to learn other cultural stuff too. But I'm telling you, girl, the herbs that you need, we
They're
got them.
here.
They
They're
here. They're
here.
here.
They're
They're
here.
here. They're here.
They're
So don't
here.
even worry about that. We got you. We got you.
They're, and that's the beauty of it. Not only are they here, they're in abundance, and there's more.
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure.
There's
There's
more.
more. So
There's
get your
more.
cosmic blueprint. Let go of your stuff. Declutter. Because, last thing I do want to share with you. We've got this big eclipse season coming up, kicking off on Tuesday. We've got a new moon, partial eclipse. We got another total eclipse then lunar eclipse in November. So we're about to make some big shifts and changes, beloved. Some big shifts. Because this new moon is in Scorpio. That is raw energy. And remember, Scorpio is a water sign, beloved. So this is pure passion, pleasure. But it's not pleasure sexual. It's pleasure in your mind pleasure, peace. What the first word of pleasure is please, and that means we need to be
Mhm.
pleasing ourselves. And so a lot of big
Mhm.
energy in this last, and now with the veil being the thinnest with this month,
Come on now. I
the
love it.
intuition is strong. Beloveds, please, if you need support, reach out. Don't think you're crazy. Know that you are
Right.
clairvoyant. That's the name of my book, the name of the podcast coming, everything, because we're not crazy. We're clairvoyant, and we have to honor that. We have to think and dig into our clairvoyance and
Mhm.
trust it. So again, look, intuition is the highest form of intelligence. Why do they tell us it's woo? Why do we conditioned to think and be rational and logical? Because they don't want us being intuitive. It is the
Right.
highest form of intelligence.
So many
Why would
people
they
are
keep
walking
it?
around sleep.
Why would they want us to keep our intuition from us? You see, that
Mhm.
is a form of resistance. Us being
Mhm.
intuitive is a form of resistance. They don't
Mhm.
want us being intuitive,
And
because
let me
that
say
makes
this
us
too.
powerful and dangerous.
When I tell you, when people know that you see them, that's why, I mean, I look at people a certain way and I'm just like, I don't even have to say anything because they know I see who they are. And it's simply because taking the time to do exactly what we're talking about.
That's right.
You
There's
have
no rushing.
because it's your that
There's
part,
no competing here. This is sisterhood. This is,
right?
this is sisterhood. There's no pretense anything. We're
Hmm.
just here for each other, showing up. And so this is what we need to practice. This is what we need to learn. This is what we need to focus on when we're decolonizing our minds. We have to make decolonizing our minds, our bodies, and our spirits a priority.
It
And then
has
we
to
need
be
to
a
get out.
priority.
And then you got to get out, decide where and go. But
And if people are having a hard time, someone told me they should pick at least four places. I want to narrow it. I love threes. I love threes.
yeah, I think too,
Mm,
because
mm,
too many choices creates
it
chaos.
convolutes.
It
Hmm.
does, because think about it, and this is how I saw it. I was like, there's like five burger places on the same street. And how confusing does that make you? And then you end up getting the least expensive one or the one that you wanted in the first place. But if you have too many choices, it creates chaos, which is why in
Hmm.
the United
Hmm.
States there is so much chaos, because they keep you distracted. They keep you disconnected. That's why you can't make a choice. If you can't make a choice about what you want to eat, how can you make a choice about where you want to live? You know, this is
Or how
again,
you want to grow and go. Like, because you're so anxious.
it's the reptilian mind. We're not using our full mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's calcified from the food. So we've got to make conscious choices and changes. This is a cycle, beloveds. Our ancestors have made it this far. We have come this far for a reason. We're growing. We're being empowered for a reason. Listen, please listen.
And get in alignment.
Our sisters are calling. Our sisters are calling us. Our ancestors, I call them our ancestors, because they are now our stars and they're trying to guide us. It is up to us to listen. And so,
and be prepared for the shift. Don't. It's going to be a shake, and it's going to be a shift, and the shift and shake it's going to be people. It is going to be things, but understand that it's all a part of the process.
yes.
It's all about that decluttering.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you so much, sister. Like I said, we're going to have part 2, part 3, part 5.
I know. Thank you guys for who stuck with us, throughout the whole conversation. I am going to leave this live up so people can watch it later, and I'll make sure I'm going to tag you in it so people can definitely get in contact too with you. Thank you. And we will do a follow-up to our part 2 or another, because we can have this conversation all day.
For sure.
And we can dissect each and every topic and have another whole conversation on those too.
Yes. So I'm so glad you're in my life. So I can keep talking to you. And you look so beautiful and happy. I'm so happy to see you looking so happy.
Child, see me next week. I have 1, 2, 3 trainings that I'm teaching, 2 which are private. One is for a major organization in New York, and another one is for Morehouse next month. So I'm gonna be so busy next month. But when I tell you, when I come down, it's gonna be 3 weeks of jam-packed just teaching and instruction. But when I come down, I'm gonna be like, I'm probably hit the floor, but ready to answer.
Yes, and come on down. I'll be holding it for you. So if anybody wants a retreat, if you want a session, please, I'm here. Let's
I know, and Tamara is in here. I don't know if Tamara is still in here, but Tanya is in Puerto Vallarta. Just FYI, she'll know. She knows what that means.
Okay. Good.
She knows what that means.
So have a beautiful rest of your day.
You guys too.
Say hi to honey, and have a beautiful rest of your days. Stay warm. I love you, sister.
Love you too. I'll talk to you soon offline. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.